Resignations and people being forced to resign or asked to resign are in the common parlance these days. It's in the water. It's in the air. I got somebody who should be resigning immediately. Karoline Leavitt, the press secretary for Donald Trump, who took to her bully pulpit today during a press conference to dox, to attack by name, a Republican-appointed Chief Judge Boasberg of the D.C. Circuit Court. I guess she didn't get the memo that Chief Justice Roberts, who's his boss, told the administration in no uncertain terms to cut it out, stop calling for impeachment, and stop attacking judges. Donald Trump believes that he may not be able to continue to attack judges, but he's going to let those in his administration do it. And she is a half-wit. She is depraved. She doesn't understand the law. She shouldn't be commenting about law or lawyers at all. I'm Michael Popok. You're on the MeidasTouch Network, and I'm with Legal AF. Let's get down to it. Yesterday, Chief Justice Roberts stepped out of his role as the Chief Justice and became Chief Administrator and Protector of the federal judiciary and rebuked Donald Trump in a 2-line statement in which he said for over 200 years, 2 centuries, our precedent is you don't seek the impeachment of a judge you disagree with, you appeal, which was a direct rebuke of Donald Trump after he earlier in the day attacked federal judges, in particular Judge Boasberg, as being insane, as being a lunatic, as being corrupt, because he ruled against Donald Trump in his use of the Alien Enemies Act to try to deport people without due process to one of the most depraved, disgusting supermax prisons in the world in El Salvador, of all places. And then Donald Trump, later that night, he took to Laura Ingraham, his commentator of choice, to be able to speak Pravda for the government. And he looked her in the eye and he said, "Oh, I don't think that the judge was talking to me. He didn't mention my name, did he?" Well, who else do you think he was talking to? He was talking to the President of the United States, the head of the Article 2 branch of the government, as the Article 3 branch of the government head. But Donald Trump, well, I didn't hear my name, and I won't defy court orders, but we got a lunatic, a left-wing Democrat, crazy, liberal judge who's trying to shut me down. Let's talk about Judge Boasberg for a minute before I go to the clip of Karoline Leavitt attacking Boasberg by name during the press conference. Boasberg was appointed by Bush, W. He was elevated to the chief judge position, ultimately by a Democrat, but he was originally appointed by Bush. He's bipartisan. Everybody that knows him says he's a moderate, middle-of-the-road Democrat. Can't find any more moderate, middle-of-the-road Democrat than Jeb Boasberg. He was the law school roommate of Brett Kavanaugh, the United States Supreme Court. He was appointed by Chief Justice Roberts, a Republican, to be on the FISA court, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. This guy, until he got on the wrong side of Donald Trump because he oversaw the grand jury proceedings and Donald Trump's criminal processes, he's always been a moderate. They just don't like his decision-making. So now Karoline Leavitt, after her boss said that he was not going to continue to attack federal judges, did exactly that in a press conference. Here's a clip.
I have one other question, but I want to follow up on Katie's question, actually. You said the mass deportation campaign would continue, but she asked about the flights specifically. Will those flights to El Salvador continue while this case is being appealed?
We don't have any flights planned specifically, but we will continue with the mass deportations. And I would just like to point out that the judge in this case is essentially trying to say that the president doesn't have the executive authority to deport foreign terrorists from our American soil. That is an egregious abuse of the bench. This judge does not have that authority. It is the opinion of this White House and of this administration, and that's why we're fighting this in court. And it's very, very clear that this is an activist judge who is trying to usurp the president's authority. Under the Alien Enemies Act, the president has this power, and that's why this deportation campaign has continued. And this judge, Judge Boasberg, is a Democrat activist. He was appointed by Barack Obama. His wife has donated more than $10,000 to Democrats, and he has consistently shown his disdain for this president and his policies, and it's unacceptable.
You're right where I wanted to go about the idea that these people are all foreign terrorists, but Judge Boasberg was originally appointed by George W. Bush and then elevated by Barack Obama. I just feel like I should clear that up.
Well, let me just say something to that effect, Garrett. 67% of all of the injunctions in this century have come against which president? Donald J. Trump. Let me say that again. 60% of the injunctions by partisan activists in the judicial branch have come against President Donald Trump, and 92% of those have been from Democrat-appointed judges. This is a clear, concerted effort by leftists who don't like this president and are trying to impose or slow down his agenda.
So, given that, do you think it's a good use of Congress's time and the president's political capital to try to impeach and remove a federal judge, which would take 67 votes you're unlikely to get in the Senate?
Well, look, the president has made it clear that he believes this judge in this case should be impeached. And he has also made it clear that he has great respect for the Chief Justice John Roberts. And it's incumbent upon the Supreme Court to rein in these activist judges.
It's time for Karoline Leavitt to resign. Did you know Fast Growing Trees is the biggest online nursery in the U.S. with thousands of different plants and over 2 million happy customers? They have all the plants your yard needs, like fruit trees, privacy trees, flowering trees, shrubs, and so much more. Fast Growing Trees makes it easy to get your dream yard. Order online and get your plants delivered directly to your door in just a few days without ever leaving home. Their Alive and Thrive guarantee ensures your plants arrive happy and healthy. Plus, get support from trained plant experts on call to help you plan your landscape, choose the right plants, and learn how to care for them. We recently moved into a new house, and it came with 2 big bald spots where grass used to be, but the prior owner's dog wore out. So we turned to Fast Growing Trees, and their plant experts' advice turned an eyesore into one of our favorite features of the yard, with a few key lime trees suited for our climate and location. Saved us all the aggravation of dealing with unknown landscapers and nurseries, too. Big yard, small yard, no yard. Fast Growing Trees has over 6,000 plants to fit any space, from indoor plants to fruit trees to full-size privacy trees and more. And their 14-point quality checklist ensures you're getting the best quality plant possible. Each plant is cared for individually based on their needs, from watering routines to the amount of sunlight, giving your plants the care they deserve from the time they start growing to when they ship to your home. Whether you're looking to add privacy, shade, or natural beauty to your yard, Fast Growing Trees has in-house experts ready to help you make the right selection, with plant experts on call to offer growing and care advice. You can talk to a plant expert about your soil type, landscape design, how to take care of your plants, and everything else you need. No green thumb required. Every plant comes with instructions and tips to take care of your new plants so they can grow to their fullest potential. This spring, they have the best deals for your yard, up to half off on select plants and other deals. And listeners to our show get 15% off their first purchase when using the code LEGALAF at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using the code LEGALAF at checkout. FastGrowingTrees.com, code LEGALAF. Now's the perfect time to plant. Use LEGALAF to save today. Offer is valid for a limited time. Terms and conditions may apply. Unless you want your press secretary to be like that lady wearing a pink kimono in the North Korean television, which I don't. You're supposed to have credibility when you talk to the press. You're supposed to be a spokesperson for the administration and its positions. You're not supposed to use it to attack federal judges. It's one thing for Elon Musk to try to do it. It's another thing for Stephen Miller, the White House deputy chief of staff, to do it. But the press secretary, during a press statement, it's because she knows no boundaries. She knows no protocol. She hasn't been properly trained. She's not that bright. She'll say anything that the Trump lawyers and Stephen Miller puts in front of her to say. And it's got to come to an end, And I don't know why they think picking a fight with Chief Justice Roberts is in their best interest, or even Chief Justice or Chief Judge Boasberg is in their best interest. Boasberg ties back to Kavanaugh an important vote for Donald Trump for his administration policies. And John Roberts. This has been a terrible 2 weeks for John Roberts and Trump. You'd send him to marriage counseling if they were a married couple. First, Roberts gets annoyed because Donald Trump tries to give him a fist bump during the joint session, the speech to the joint session. Sorry, it looked like he ate a bad oyster, and then later that day, he and Amy Coney Barrett blasted Trump, ruled against him, forced the Trump administration to pay $2 billion in U.S. AIDS debt on order, and now you've got Roberts, who's decided he's got to step out of character and fire back at Trump, or he's going to look like a weakling, as his federal judges, because they all report to him, he runs that branch, are being attacked. And what does Karoline Leavitt decide to do? You'd think she'd learn her lesson when federal judges used her own words against her to grant temporary restraining orders and injunctions against the Trump administration. But no. That hasn't stopped her. Nobody's clipped her wings. No, but she apparently does not get briefed by any lawyer worth their salt. And now you have the doxing of a federal judge. I'm sure that the attacks on him and his family have now escalated. I'm sure it's something now he's going to have to redouble his protection, his federal marshal protective service and contingency. Going to have to happen. We're going to continue to follow Donald Trump's descent into the last ring of hell and his attempts to drag us along with him. This goes beyond them drawing a line in the sand to try to battle the federal judges into submission. We've now reached a whole new level, a whole new turning point of a constitutional crisis created by Donald Trump and his administration. They want this fight, and they're going to get it. And now the question is, what is Chief Justice Roberts going to do next? And what is Kavanaugh going to do next? And are they going to allow the attacks on the judiciary? I mean, John Roberts, in his end of the year, beginning of the year address, State of the Judiciary address just this year, said that one of the greatest threats was the attacks on the judiciary and to try to compromise their independence. Well, what is he going to make of this? This can't bode well. That's why it's a definition of insanity. They need the Supreme Court in every vote they can get to support their policies, and yet they continue to bash and challenge Chief Justice Roberts. She might as well have said something about Chief Justice Roberts, Karoline Leavitt, during the press conference. That's how potentially devastating this is going to be. We're going to follow everything that comes out of Karoline Leavitt's mouth, and we're going to shove it right back at her in court filings. And we're going to follow it here on the MeidasTouch Network and on Legal AF. So until my next report, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories at the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.